listeners, happy Sunday to you and happy weekend.
I couldn't help but notice you're wearing jade.
Thank you for noticing. I have my little jade pendant.
Yes.
My little jade ring that's very much like the jade bangles where it has no beginning and no end.
Oh, right.
So it's a form, but I love it. And then I have a jade bracelet that my mom gave me. So it's very old, but you can see even the Chinese symbol on the top of it. So I did that in honor of our guest today. By the way, I wanted to apologize.
For the false start, whatever that was?
Well, whatever that was, I'm not sure. We're going to have our tech team look into it. But bless her heart, my darling friend Kimberly Wells, who was our guest 2 weeks ago, got in touch with me and she took a snapshot of my Facebook page. And she said, Judy, I just want you to know that Facebook is saying that you're live now and there's no picture, but there's a little arrow and the time is counting down. And I said, that's weird because I always like to alert you guys that we're scheduling a Facebook live at noon. So I just wanted to let you know that we weren't.
And I waited. I said, because we don't have our makeup artist that we usually, that's right, we don't have one. So yeah, we don't know why that happened. But we're live now.
But we're live now. So welcome to the show. Oh, you have to talk first before we welcome our guest in. She's sitting in the green room now.
Yep. And
but about your upload yesterday.
Oh yeah, so YouTube. This in my YouTube channel is called Paul DC Gemstones, and it's a Colored Gemstone Academy. So I'm just giving you education every week, and it drops Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. And this one is one of the ones I had, I think, a lot of fun with, and it's called treatments. And a lot of people are surprised to learn that most gems are treated in one way or another.
Yeah.
And in order to improve the appearance of the gem, but most of them are legit and they're recognized by the GIA. But that's what that one's about. And so if you could watch that, I'd appreciate that. And then hit the subscribe button and then if you like it. I don't want you to like it if you don't.
I liked it.
You liked it. And yes, yeah, so subscribe.
Yeah.
It helps us out.
And that's why I put the little scroll across the bottom of the screen so that you could see. Just go onto YouTube and it's very easy to subscribe to the channel. And I thought it was good. I watched the whole thing.
Good. It's not too late to start. In other words, they live in infamy on our YouTube channel. So if you say, wait a minute, I wish I got there from the beginning, you just go back to lesson 1.
Yep.
And if you want to review, you review.
Because they always live right there on the channel. So I'm pulling up all the comments from the people who've already started writing in. Hi to Orlando. Thanks for letting us know. Also, Metro Detroit wrote in. So it's good to see your names and your icons and your cities.
What about well, of course, you're not releasing that one. I just watched the newest one that you edited.
Right.
But what's the one that will be released tomorrow?
Okay, so tomorrow morning. And
Get Fit with Judy.
This will be a fun conversation when Yim comes on. Yes, my channel on YouTube is Judy Crowell Style. I kind of named everything Judy Crowell Styles across the board on all the platforms, so it's easy for you to find me. But the videos, the workout videos, are called Get Fit with Judy, and so tomorrow's is called Bikini Booty Body.
I like it.
Bikini Booty Body, because summer's just around the corner. And short season and bathing suit season around the corner. So that's what I called it. And I really had fun with it. I'm laughing throughout the whole video.
I can vouch for it because we were in our hot tub yesterday, social distancing. And she had her bikini body.
Working it. So that's what's dropping tomorrow morning. So if you're up at 5 a.m. out on the West Coast, it drops live. So I drop it at 8 a.m. on the East Coast time. But as soon as you wake up, it'll be there waiting for if you want to do a workout with me.
And meanwhile, speaking of social distancing.
Yes. Could we get any further away?
Our guest isn't 6 feet away.
No.
Probably something like 7,000 or 8,000 miles away.
Right.
In Hong Kong.
And so without further ado, let us welcome our guest this morning into the broadcast. You remember Yim Tom from all those days ago, offering Chinese Jade on QVC. Hi, Yim. We can't hear her. Oh, that's because I forgot.
Muted. Sorry. Say it again.
Hi, Yim. Welcome to the show.
Hi. I'm so happy to see you after all these years. I want to tell you, how proud I am of you. Harnessing this technology, you know, you're so 21st century. Where when we met, it was so 20th century.
Yeah.
1995, we aired in 1996.
Yeah.
And so 24 years later, we're here.
So, you know what I'm going to show while you're there is just to give you an idea of what Yim is talking about. This was a trip that we took in the lower right-hand corner of your screen, and that was the crew. Yim is the little cute head popping in the front, taking the picture, and I'm down in front on the left side, and that was the crew. We had some people in Hong Kong who were part of our crew, and some people who we flew in from America, right, Yim?
Yes, and what we wanted to do is bring this amalgam of talent and cultures from the East and West to find a way to present the whole concept of jade, because 1996 was such a long time ago.
But wait a minute, I have to say, if you and Judy got on a show right now, people, it's like a time machine.
Yeah,
you guys
it is
both
funny.
look incredibly the same. And I don't know how that's possible.
I love this too, Yim. I'm going to put another one up for you that I think is really cute, and it kind of highlights what Paul is talking about. That was you in 1995. You look exactly the same. You're looking in a mirror.
There is no before and after. It's the same.
Oh my goodness! Look at that.
Isn't that a great picture? And you and Kathy Iannuzzi both were on the trip, and of course she's a love too. Goes way back to QVC. I think she's actually still there.
Yeah, amazing.
Isn't
amazing.
that fun?
So, oh my goodness.
Let's keep reminiscing for a moment
About the jade.
About the jade, for sure. First of all, what's the piece that you're wearing?
Oh, it's from one of my own collections. We go. I often look at life in 12-year cycles, because to go from we started the Chinese Jade show in the year of the rat. And then we sort of ended it in the year of the rat when they placed jade in an embargo on Myanmar, and that's where our stone was coming from. So I was very happy because I completed a 12-year cycle. And then in the interim 12 years, we're on the second 12-year cycle, I started looking at all the materials that have come around me over the years. And I take in this case, something like this, which was a piece that was carved probably early mid-century. And I find a way to set it with coral in this case and little sapphires and giving new life to old stones. And so that's what I've been spending my time on. So where I'm doing one-of-a-kind pieces, and it very much is a serendipitous encounter when the person and the piece of jade meet each other. They know that they're a match for each other. Everything is one of a kind now.
Yep, I feel like that about you and me.
Yes.
Well, I have a personal question. I mean, I feel sort of wounded because I was born in the year of the rat. What can you tell about that to make me feel better? That I was born in the year of the rat.
Okay. A person who was born in the year of the rat is among the most successful survivors and abilities to manage change. They say they're the most successful mammals on the planet. And we're not just looking at rats. We look at squirrels. We look at hamsters. We look at everything that is in that family. And when we think about the nature of that person that is born in the year of that, the person shares the same set of qualities that are clever, but not clever in a devious way, but clever in a resourceful way. So that's what I would have to share with you.
Thank you. Although there's a fine line between resourceful and devious.
Did that make you feel better? Well, you can accept all the other qualities as well.
So I think another person who is probably as far away, or certainly nearly far away as you. Can you see your screen, Yim? Look on the bottom of your screen.
on the bottom of my screen. Okay.
You see Mary, who says she's watching from Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
Oh, that is another part of our beautiful planet.
Mhm.
Yes, isn't that
Yes.
something?
Oh,
And
yes,
that's also the magic of computers and Wi-Fi and being able to connect virtually
All
to
over, yeah.
anyone, anywhere in the world.
I think
What's making this happen? I don't know if everybody knows this, but Yim is actually broadcasting at midnight right now, her time. She is coming to us from Hong Kong. And Yim, I want to have you talk a little bit about this particular piece. And I'm going to try to bring it up on the screen so that everybody can see it. Hold on just one quick second, because there's so much that you've been doing even since having left QVC. So tell us about that piece on the lower right-hand side of your screen.
Oh, look at what you have found to surprise me.
Yes, I've been doing some homework. So talk to us about this.
Oh, actually, this one has a beautiful story. So what we have is, I work with a dear friend, Selma, and Selma's family has been in the jewelry business for a long time. But even before the jewelry business, her grandfather was one of the people in the village, well, among the clan that had financial resources. And this was in the 60s when Hong Kong went through this terrible financial, again, this sort of roller coaster down. And so people needed the cash. And so he provided cash, and these pieces of jade became collateral. And so eventually he assembled this significant collection of these small little jade. They were meant as talisman. And so what happened is we looked at them and we decided, let's find a way to how to revive the stone. Instead of just a little charm, what can we do? So we've matched it up with 18 karat, and in this case, jades and lapis lazuli, along with tourmaline and some coral, and they became these sort of very easy to wear bracelets. So I've got a small collection that's at the Four Seasons in Hong Kong on their style level. So about, it was in the fall, late fall, they called me from the spa. They told me about a guest who was having questions about this collection. And he wanted to get a gift for his daughter who was having a birthday and 2 young children. And it turned out to be Mr. Yo-Yo Ma.
Oh my God.
I know. And so, I had just launched this collection, and it was actually these pieces that were among the pieces that he selected as a gift for his daughter. And I was
the coolest story.
Did he write a theme song on the cello for you?
sorry.
I said, did he write a theme song on the cello for you?
Oh, you know what? I should ask him how the progress is on the theme song.
Yeah.
Because every jewelry company definitely needs a theme song, don't you think?
It does.
No question about it. And then I found another darling picture, and I wanted you to describe this because I know your life changed a lot when this beautiful lady came to live with you.
Oh,
Who this is.
my mama. She's my muse. Actually, growing up, it's not until looking back now that, I can look back 24 years ago when we first started talking about jade. But, I look back to my childhood and this whole journey that jade has been such a participant in. So you'll see the bangle that I'm wearing there, and I've got that same bangle here.
Yeah.
And my mom found this for me in 1984 at an antique fair. At the Miami Beach used to host the world's largest antique show. And she found this for me there. And it turned out that the person who sold it to her became my mentor and brought me to Hong Kong in 1990.
Wow. No family resemblance whatsoever.
Yeah, I know, right? I was thinking the same thing. Like, again, an appearance.
It's amazing.
And so then it was my mother who found this. I wasn't even there. She found this from Mr. Lee and she brought it back. And so she gave it to me. And that time I was really chubby. And it's one of those things that I was like Cinderella and the slippers. It just
Little bat did the trick.
And it did the trick. And then my mom says, let's go back and see Mr. Lee, because what about your sisters? So we go back to see Mr. Lee, and she shows Mr. Lee. She's so proud. She says, look, Mr. Lee, your bangle fits my daughter perfectly. I've got 2 more daughters. And he's busting up laughing. He goes, I sell that bangle to you. I don't make any money. And now you tell me you have 2 more.
He wasn't too happy.
Oh, he was so funny. He just teased her because she's such a cutie pie.
Aww.
And so then she starts talking to Mr. Lee how she's concerned about her daughter. She just finished university. She's got a degree in Asian studies. And she says, she wants to do exactly what you do, Mr. Lee. I had no idea I wanted to work with jade, work with antiques. But eventually, Mr. Lee became my mentor and brought me to Hong Kong. And because of her.
Yeah.
And that's your workbench behind you that you make your jewelry?
Oh, yes. So back here, I've got my stones down here. So finally I sorted through everything. So I've got a box with coral, I got a box with jades, I got all my metals together. And then I assemble on the back table so I could get all of the various sorts of, it's kind of like the matchmaking table.
Oh, wow.
Everybody comes from a different background. So I look at every stone as an individual character. They're an individual person, and then, is this one flamboyant? Is this one quiet? What kind of setting allows this one to speak for itself?
Absolutely.
Because rarely do I work with new stones. I only work with old materials that have found their way into my orbit. It's almost kind of like a planet, and then you have this sort of magnetic field, and certain ones just kind of bump up to you, and then they get pulled into the orbit. So I have this orbit of stones, and so I have to think about, who will they become?
Right.
And
what do you want to be?
What do you want to be? Exactly. I asked them, what do you want to be?
I want to ask you another question, Yim. I'm going to take you back in time for those who are kind of just tuning in and saying, who is this woman and what are they talking about? So I'm going to take you back again to 1995 when you and I were actually in this temple, and it was a courtyard. And remember, you and I are right in the very center, and we were in a courtyard, and as we're walking forward to the area where we ended up being, and they ended up continuing to take more and more video of us. Then we went into, actually you handed me some bamboo sticks, and there was something coming from those bamboo sticks. And we were walking up, and all these people on the left side had incense. And it seemed like it must have been a place of worship.
We were at, this was right before the Moon Festival. So the Moon Festival happens every, at the mid-autumn moon. So it is the 8th moon of the lunar calendar, and it's the 15th day. So it's the full autumn moon. Wow. And a month before then, all of the ancestors who have departed come and party for a month on our dimension. So the most important thing is that we want to give them offerings to pay the respect so that they don't rattle us too much.
I would say this is pretty good for me after I'm gone to come back and haunt people. But,
you know that you're you're ready, aren't you? You got your people down.
What did you say was the time frame of the Moon Festival again? Because I know
it was the 8th day of the 15th month, and I think it was probably I remember when you came out, it was September.
Okay.
It was a fall, it was hot.
Yeah.
And it was typhoon season, and I thought, wow, they're so ambitious to come at this time of year. But it was so picturesque, because that is one of my favorite festivals, because it allows, everyone thinks about the the opera and the entertainment and paying the respects to the ancestors. And they would do it by, there would be stages set up for operas to be performed. And actually, it's all to entertain the spirits so that they enjoy their time, the 1 month release from wherever they are to come to this dimension, and that they will be satisfied with their experience here so that they can calm down for another year.
I remember we used to go to both the Dragon Boat Festival, and we went to, of course, we talked about Chinese Jade in the Chinese New Year. But these are two of my favorite look backs from 1995, because not only were we in China, we were in beautiful Hong Kong downtown, and we were doing a promo. So you can see on the left side of your screen just the magnificent vista that we had as our backdrop. And it wasn't a postcard; we were really there. And that was me doing a stand up right in little Hong Kong. So that was really fun. But
yes, that was. What an exciting time that was. And that was a beautiful time in Hong Kong as well, because it was this sort of, there was still a lot of enthusiasm for all the a lot of new things were happening. You know, at that time I was working in the antique field. And all of the sort of archaeological excavations that were going on, and we were learning new things about how the lifestyle was in ancient days by looking at the artifacts that were coming out. So you would see all of the entertainers to accompany the person into the afterlife. So you would see beautifully sculpted acrobats, your sort of guardians. They would have towers so that you would be able to house all of your sentry and watchmen would be up on your towers to be able to make sure that you were well protected. And all of those things that were coming out that, you know, today, 24 years later, everything has sort of peaked, and then has the newness has gone into the collectors have taken them, institutions have taken them, and now it's just a very, very quiet practice now for people that are in that field of excavation.
yes, for sure.
I have a gemstone related question for you.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we all have our favorites, and I often tell this story when I'm trying to educate people about gemstones, that when I'm walking, like for example, when we're in Tucson or Hong Kong and we're at a jewelry show and I walk down an aisle, something stops me and I say, is that me picking the gemstone or did the gemstone pick me?
I have that same thing all the time, and I'll say the gemstone picks you. Mm-hmm. I always feel that the gemstone selects their wearer. I don't think that we don't have as much power as we think we do.
Judy tells me that all the time.
I'm a believer in that. I think we're deceiving ourselves. Any choice in the matter. Gemstones definitely pick their wearer. Mm-hmm. Because you think about the intimacy, you know, it is probably one of the most intimate objects anybody encounters.
Yes, or choose.
And you think about where you wear it, you know, like say on the ears. Yep. It influences everything that we hear, how we process what we hear. When we wear it here, we think about what we're going to say, how we say it, who we say it to. Mm. If we wear it on the hands, how do we use our hands? You know, Are we going to use it to smack something, or are we going to use it to mend something? So there's so many ways that we think about the sort of nature of the stone, mm-hmm. and how it can help us or kind of handicap us sometimes, I'm going to say.
Well, and you know, one of the things that we used to do, Yim, is we would take trips to show the backstory, the mm-hmm. history mm-hmm. of a stone, and all of the people who touched that stone. and how intimate it really is. When we were at a Chinese Jade bead factory, and they would drill every single bead by hand like this. And I treasure these pictures because it was really something that was quite unique and quite different, and that many Americans don't have an opportunity to see just how detailed, how dirty the backstory is of, mining the stone and cobbing the stone and cleaning the stone and analyzing the stone and trying to figure out, to your point, what it wants to be. You've taken this workbench kind of and put it into your own life, in your own world, and now you're doing this for others.
I think that there are so many aspects of where we are now that we, the sort of immediate gratification that we're able to experience is such a unique point in our human history. All of these centuries and centuries that we've sort of roamed, nobody ever took anything for granted. You always took what you ate for you were solemn about what you ate. You were solemn about what you were able to protect your body with. But, suddenly we're here where we can have things that are so easily accessible. But actually, there's so much more about what we choose that maybe it's a beautiful time for us to be mindful of it again.
Yeah.
It's one of the times that we have to sort of have this space and time to reflect on what we have, and actually to be able to really appreciate what we have.
Yeah.
Every moment.
Yeah.
Every moment.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's been fun to watch the comments come through too, of how many people remember you and love listening to you and love the stories. And that's one of the things that, as a host on QVC, I used to enjoy so much about the Chinese Jade shows that we would do. Every single piece of jewelry had a meaning, and you were able to talk about the stone and the color, if it happened to be a lavender jade or a jade or the green jade, nephrite versus jadeite. And also the symbols and the good luck. There was so much symbolism in those shows that my head would spin. But it was so interesting and so much fun.
But you have this whole, centuries of this basic vocabulary that's been established, where you have these two little figures and they're going to be for happiness and harmony, or you have the phoenix who is so resilient, the dragon that is able to transform itself all the time, and you just have these sorts of symbols to just keep gentle reminders that we're very okay, that we're protected, that there's good fortune behind every corner, beyond every corner, that just keep mindful of it, and we'll be able to see it. It's only when we become blinded to it that even if it appears right in front of us, that we'll never experience it.
Yeah, that will miss it. And speaking of missing something, you have the most beautiful teacup and pitcher, and I forgot to enter into the conversation to toast to you. So we want to toast you now midstream. Is that okay?
Oh.
That's so pretty. I even love that tradition too.
Oh, yeah.
Paul's drinking a lot of tea these days, believe it or not. He says it's completely changed the quality of his voice and vocal cords.
Yeah.
Actually, it's a very interesting thing. We're going to talk about some contemporary circumstances now. And I do think that, we need to think about how we hydrate ourselves in order to be able to stay healthy. Is it orange juice, milk, coffee, smoothie, jamba juice, followed by the beer and the wine and and then I think, where does the water come in?
Yeah. That's true.
Really, it's the water and tea that really kind of keeps this hydration and the valves going in a smooth way without the gunk building up.
Car breaking down.
Yeah, so I'm like the big encourager of water and tea.
Yeah.
And A, everything in moderation, and B, balance.
Balance and harmony.
She needs balance so she can drink 2 glasses of wine at one time.
Water in one hand, wine in the other. Actually, drinking a lot more water too, which is good. And I notice a difference very much so in my skin and nails and regularity.
Regular. Well, today my lunch was Korean fried chicken and beer. Those are two that.
Yeah, I like it. I'll drink to that with my little tiki hut koozie.
Yeah.
Yim, this has been so much fun, and you've given me so much inspiration for what we were talking about with my group of women and how to move forward, and so many messages that there are to convey and to kind of commiserate, but also support one another and have a faith and a trust in a circle where you know you're being taken care of. And one of the things that Yim shared with me, actually, even about the videos that I'm doing, she said, okay, Judy, I did one of your videos and I think I tweaked my back and I was out for about 3 days and I thought, oh no, that's terrible. So she said, you know, for those of us who've never worked out before, or we're kind of getting back into it after maybe 30 years, can you do something that's really beginner level that kind of warms up the body and gets us ready for those exercises? And I think that's a great idea.
Great beginner boot camp for Get Fit with Judy.
Beginner boot camp. Would you take that, Yim, if I did a beginner boot camp?
I am definitely all for that. I'll be there. I'll be there.
I will also say, since I'm pretty much at retirement age myself, that with all the retirees that moved to Florida, Florida's still the antique capital of the world.
Well, I'm from Miami, so I know it's the antique capital of the world.
Happy belated birthday.
Oh, yes.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it's been very special this year.
Yeah, it's funny because I'd forgotten that you and I are both fellow Aries, because mine's the 1st and yours is the 15th. And yeah, you're right. It was actually quite a special birthday. I think some people are thinking that it's a little bit sad because they can't do the traditional things that they used to do with family and friends. But to your point about reflecting and kind of taking in the things you are appreciative for, another girlfriend of mine who's a fellow Aries was born on April 6th. And I said, how was your birthday? And she's single. And so she was at home and she lives in Atlanta. And she said, you know, it was very different. I had my dog Toby with me, but we were kind of by ourselves. And she said, but you know what? So far, knock on wood, family's healthy. Nothing's happened to anyone in my family. We're good. She said, lots to be thankful for. It was a great birthday.
Yes, absolutely. We're at a point where nobody expects us to be where we are. However, I know that there are so many nuggets of the gems in life really come up now, and we get to polish them. Yeah. And that's how life happens. You know, it's polishing ourselves. You know, if we're a gem, you know, we got to do this, we got to do this. Yeah, exactly.
Polish it up.
I don't want to be under anybody's 10 power jeweler's loop.
Not anymore. Hey, Yim, have a wonderful night. I know it's your bedtime.
Yeah, thank you for staying up for
Thank you for staying up for us. Everybody really enjoyed it. But no one more than we.
Yes.
So we'll try to do this again soon. And we won't be strangers.
Yep.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Sounds good, Yim. Love you.
Bye.
You too, both of you. Bye-bye.
Bye. So fun. Isn't she great? So we thought you guys might enjoy that. I know there are some people who maybe don't go that far back with us. As she was there, we were talking about, she said, 24 years ago, Judy, you and I went, actually kicked off the Chinese Jade show. And it was 25 years ago that we had gone to China and Hong Kong together to get ready for the show and do sort of the local flavor of the country from where that stone stems and has steeped in history. So yeah, that's
of course it was pre-Paul.
Well, that was pre-Paul. Yeah, you think about it. You came along a year after
97.
In 97. Yeah. So anyway, it's just fun. Oh, we've always talked about how much fun it is to touch base with familiar faces and good friends and stay in touch with people just like you guys. So I hope you've enjoyed the show.
Yeah.
Is there anything else we didn't mention?
I don't think so. Do we have anybody lined for next week, or are we going solo?
So far, solo. I'm waiting for a response from someone.
Okay.
She's checking her schedule. I think it's probably going to be okay because the travel schedule probably won't change before the 30th of April. So we may be okay for next weekend.
Eventually,
We'll let you know.
eventually, I wanted to line up having a comedian again.
Oh,
We had him on a long time ago. And
that would be fun.
yeah, so he's working on material again. It was funny. He said, just kind of getting back into writing because he's been so happy in his marriage. It was taking the edge off of his writing. He said, so I'm finding more things to be angry about, so I'll start writing comedy again.
Well, yeah, because we really enjoyed going to see
Oh,
him.
he was just funny. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I think I embarrassed his wife at the time. She was sitting in front of me. We were in the audience. And I do have a very loud, happy laugh.
Really?
And I was laughing so hard, and I must have been laughing so loud. And everybody kind of in the front row.
Except for,
Oh my gosh. But he must have enjoyed it. He knew that he was hitting home. That's right. Look, she remembers. You're
enjoy
right,
your free
Glenna.
today. That's going to happen.
Yes, we're definitely looking forward to that.
I'm thinking Merlot today.
And I'm thinking about some ideas for my little group.
Okay, I like it.
So I want to touch base with you guys.
Oh, I also apologies to Linda, who sent us the goat cheese recipe. The reason we haven't shot it yet, we have a gaping hole in our cabinet front in our kitchen. And Judy ixnayed on the Ilming Fay.
I think you said that right.
So we can't film it until we get that cabinet hole filled.
You know those little sliders that your drawers slide in,
Slow
you don't even
close.
think about them. Yeah. And some of them are slow close. Well, when I had our cabinets repainted, the guy said, since you're having them all taken out to repaint, why don't you put those, because we had the old fashioned kind, why don't you put those slow close sliders in? Well, one of them I think must have been put in, or maybe a little cockeyed or something. But suddenly all the ball bearings, I'm like, what? Pop. And then the whole drawer came out. And it happened to be the trash can drawer. So
I'm either going to put a cone, like a
Yes.
construction cone in front of it,
Yes.
and say under construction, and we'll still film it, or we'll wait till we fix it. We need the handyman to come
I do
by.
have that police tape.
Yes, we
yellow,
could do
both
that.
in Spanish and in
I
English.
think let's do that.
I just put it right across the whole. Pay no attention
Because I really want to try that
to the trash can
goat
behind
cheese recipe.
Thanks, you guys, for being with us today. It's fun. It's always fun. We look forward to it.